This week on the Cynical Optimists,
Bond 25 throws an awkward press conference.
a smashed spectator throws a crab.
And Marvel throws itself a party in Avengers Endgame.
Hello and welcome to the Cynical Optimist podcast, the podcast where we cover the film, TV and gaming news of the week, and then we take the second half of the show to discuss something in the popular culture, usually a film because it requires the least research. I am Phil.
And I am Nick.
And this week, in talking about films, we're talking about the film. Seems to be the one that's getting the biggest marketing push at the moment.
It's Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson's film The Hustle in cinemas May 10th.
We fooled you with the title of this podcast, Avengers Endgame. We're actually talking about whatever film it was that Nick just said.
I've just seen it as an advert on the page where I'm reading my news from. It does actually look quite funny. Can we just do the whole podcast about this weird random film that I've just seen advertised?
I think we should just do that every week.
Yeah.
It will just be a random film podcast from now on.
My resolution for this series is to be more spontaneous, so we're doing the film The Hustle as this week's discussion film.
I'm sure in everything to do with production and editing, we're going to love that we're being more spontaneous. Also in the room with me and on my end, I've got my friend Ollie, who's come down to stay, and he's decided he wants to be a fly on the wall for this episode. I've also slipped him a bit of money, so if I've made a joke and Nick isn't laughing, then I've got Ollie who's going to laugh instead. But aside from
Ollie, that was your cue.
Oh, was that a joke?
He's our resident canned laughter.
He's new, he'll get the routine eventually.
So, film and TV news. It's been a while. What's happened? Gotham, remember that? Remember Gotham?
Vaguely.
Yep, it ended last night, or 3 nights ago by the time this goes out. I don't think anyone really noticed, but that's it. Gotham's done.
To be honest, it doesn't, even though you've probably mentioned it every series, and we've been doing this since, 2015?
Yeah.
I still feel like it's only had, one season and it's ending.
I don't know why I've missed the past, 2 or 3 seasons, so I don't know why I'm still kind of strangely attached to it.
No, I get it. I haven't watched any of Arrow or The Flash this year, but if it comes up in the news, I'll probably still report on it fondly, I remember when I used to watch that.
I have a very hollow relationship with this show.
I don't know, you were quite a staunch defender of it when you did watch it.
Yeah, there's been another Joker since then, who's the same actor, but it's his twin brother or something dumb like that. But either way, we finally got the final variant of the Joker appear.
Is this a third one, or one of the 2 that already exist?
This was one of the 2 who aged up and stuff, because they did a time jump by 10 years or something.
So there's Batman in the final episode?
He is for about 5 seconds. I haven't watched it, but I've watched all the scenes with Batman in on YouTube, and it's not a long time. And the costume is a little bit lame.
Is it, are we talking bat nipples?
No, it's similar to the Batman Begins suit.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah. We also... they also still don't actually say Batman or the Joker for some reason, because I don't know why, that they've got some weird, DC chain on them that stops them from actually using the characters' real names.
So, is it just Funny Man and Dark Knight?
There's a scene where Gordon asks the Joker who he is, and he's like, call me Jack, or call me John, or call me something beginning with J, and it's like wink wink, hint hint. But but it does feel a bit cheap. If I'm being honest.
I just don't get it. Like, why can't they just use the names?
Yeah, it's DC. Just you own Batman.
You don't have to make the off-brand version of yourself. You've got the rights.
I don't. Yeah, but Warner Brothers are funny about that kind of thing, aren't they? Because they stripped away all the characters from Arrow in order to use them in Suicide Squad and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, when they made the Suicide Squad movie, they killed off like the Suicide Squad in Arrow,
Right.
which was unnecessary because a lot of the characters didn't even appear in both.
Yeah.
And then Deathstroke has been back in Arrow since, like, even though he's now meant to be the villain in the Batman film.
Right. Yes.
And obviously he was in, and that was another weird thing. I finally saw Teen Titans Go to the movies the other day,
Oh yeah.
and he's only referred to as Slade.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure if that's a licensing thing like these other things, or whether it's because that's meant to be a kid's movie and his name is Deathstroke.
Mm-hmm.
So they got... Well, one, why would you choose him as a villain anyway in that case? And
Put
two,
Condiment
it's just,
King or something.
it's just weird, everyone being like, Slade. And they make a big thing of it being a really scary name. It's like, Deathstroke is a scarier name.
Yeah. Slade is like that. Is the name of that band that did that Christmas song, right?
Yes, it is.
But yeah, moving on from Gotham, like everyone else will. You know, another thing I've banged on about for a while is they are still remaking Utopia, the Channel 4 series, which I loved. It's going to Amazon Prime, and they've just cast John Cusack as one of the regulars in the show.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's good and stuff. What have I seen him in before? He's been in things. Hang on, let's have a quick look here. He's a black belt in karate, or in kickboxing. What else has he done?
You're just reading his Wikipedia page.
Yeah. Have I seen him in anything? Either way, I just wanted to talk about Utopia because it's a really good show, and hopefully the Amazon version will be equally as good.
So did you say this was a remake?
Yeah. Well, the Channel 4 series only had 2 seasons anyway, and ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, and it was frustrating that it didn't carry on. Whereas Amazon shows, I guess they'll have the flexibility to carry on with stuff. But I don't see why they didn't just bring back the original stuff and then continue it.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do like they did with Netflix did with Arrested Development and make a continuation.
Yeah.
Instead, they're doing what they're doing with Hellboy at the moment, and instead of making a third one, they're just starting again.
Oh, that was a different studio anyway. I suppose so is this actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh well, we'll see how things go.
Hmm.
He's been in Gone Girl. There we go. That's a film I've seen him in. And that film was good, but kind of overly long. But yeah,
should we talk about that next week?
Gone Girl.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about it now. Let's do the episode here. But yeah, it's worth checking out if you do get the chance to watch Utopia. It's probably on all 4. Series 2 actually starred Ian McDiarmid.
Oh yeah.
In a lead role.
Yeah, I wish he was in more stuff.
Yeah.
Because he seems like someone that very much got, I want to say typecast, but it's not even as if in the original Star Wars films he was in it that much.
Yeah, no, exactly. And he's actually a very interesting role in Utopia because, yeah, he's just kind of he's an old man who's kind of has got dementia and has forgotten a lot of his part. It's a really well fleshed out character.
So what you're saying is he doesn't remember the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
No, it's not a story the Jedi would tell you. That leads me rather neatly into my next piece of news. Because the episode 9 title has been revealed of Star Wars. And it's called The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, I don't need to say this. Everyone knows this. And everyone saw the trailer where you hear, obviously, the Emperor's laugh at the end. So that's cool. What do you think?
I'm still not sold on the title. I think it's strange after eight films that they're suddenly including an actual character's name. I know there's this thing that the Rise of the Skywalker might be referring to a concept, like the Skywalker might be a title at the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I think because we're planning to do like a Star Wars kind of speculation episode this season, which I'm looking forward to like discussing with you, because I'm looking forward to it, but I'm all sorts of worried that episode 9 is gonna try and retcon a lot of stuff from episode 8 and just end up being just like episode 7. Like it's just gonna be Return of the Jedi again.
Possibly, yeah.
And it's just going to end on a bit of a damp squib.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a discussion for a later episode, isn't it?
I really liked the trailer.
I thought the trailer was good, yeah.
Set up a lot of intrigue, some really cool looking planets. Yeah, some of the visual stuff looked really good. I'm pretty excited for this one. We shall see how it turns out. And yeah, we'll have a speculation episode a bit later on in the series. And we might even come to producing a lot more Star Wars content in the future as well. But that's a little hint of potential things to come.
Stick with the Cynical Optimists and subscribe on YouTube. Wink, wink. But actually do it.
And if you want more Star Wars content, then you can also sign up to Disney Plus, which has had a big old press conference recently. Did you see it?
I saw a lot of the outputs from it, but I didn't actually see the press conference itself.
So they're obviously doing They're doing 2 Star Wars TV series off the bat. They've got the Mandalorian and the Cassian Andor series. I think both of those should be pretty good.
Yeah, I think it seems like that's going to serve 2 bits. Like, The Mandalorian seems like it might be more for the prequel people, and the Cassian series will be the people who like the new Star Wars stuff, even though obviously that will be a prequel as well.
Yeah. Well,
it seems like they've gone with pretty good, safe ideas.
Well, The Mandalorian will be set between 6 and 7, so that's quite an interesting time period as well.
Okay.
We saw a few extra images. It doesn't look like the most like bright, sort of vivid look for a Star Wars film. It looks quite sort of muddy and gritty, but hopefully that means there'll be some really good character writing and stuff like that, rather than spectacular stuff going on. But I'm sure there'll be a good blend in the end. We can trust them. Some good names on that. Marvel, we've got Hawkeye, we've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we've got WandaVision. Did you see about this?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. What do you think of that name?
It's like it's trying to be a pun.
Yeah.
But like it's not a pun, it's just 2 names put together.
Yeah. Or it's like I don't really know. Yeah, do we just see everything from Wanda's point of view for the show? I don't know.
It sounds more like a 80s sitcom where the 2 of them are having to live together than actual like an action series.
And there'll be apparently a Loki TV series as well, which could be interesting. What else we got? Every single episode of The Simpsons is going on there, or up until season 30 at least.
Yeah,
that really appeals to me. I've been pining for that for a long time.
Yeah, like the Fox animated shows, so Simpsons, Futurama, maybe the early Family Guys, if you want to get trip down memory lane, would be decent to have on a streaming service.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of their biggest hooks they're now like dangling to try and get people to go on.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, like the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons at least, and then intermittently a few of them after that.
Yeah, and obviously they're going to put all the Pixar stuff on there as well. I think there's going to be a TV show based off Frozen going on there. This is going to be pretty enormous, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think the day when all their contracts start running out with Netflix, Amazon, whatever, and you start to see just the amount of content disappearing, will be pretty significant.
Yeah.
And also, as it currently stands, like, I'm not sure how it is in other countries, but obviously Now TV has some of the films, Netflix has some of the films, Amazon has some of the films.
Do you think
just
all of
being
that
able
will
to
just
say,
disappear?
it will disappear, and then they'll come out and say, look, there's one hub that has everything. And that's how they'll kind of like push it. And then that way as well, they're kind of almost spinning the message to be, you don't need all three, you can just have this one.
Yeah, definitely. This appeals to me a lot, to be fair. And I think it's looking to undercut Netflix as well, price-wise. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, no, there's that part of my brain that's like, oh, the Disney mega corporation is buying up everything that I love and putting it all on this service. But part of me is also like, well, that's a pretty damn decent price. I don't mind. Hand me over to the mega corporation.
Yeah, exactly. Give me The Simpsons and give me Star Wars for a reasonable
price. Or give me Death.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm actually very much looking forward to that. So yeah, that was a very exciting reveal of everything that's coming to Disney Plus. Did you see the Bond 25 reveal?
I only saw that it's going to be that Rami Malek's going to be the villain.
Rami Malek's going to be the villain, yeah, as was rumoured. I say reveal, it was not really an event. It was probably one of the most awkward press conferences I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
You can find the event on YouTube. It's about 20 minutes long. I got a friend who's really into Bond who texted me like, "Oh, it's live streaming now." I was like, "Oh, here we go." So I tuned in or whatever, and the presenter did a really good job of like trying to sort of drive up a bit of hype about this movie. But bearing in mind, on the last Bond press tour, Daniel Craig said that he'd rather slit his wrists than do another one. He did not look especially happy to be there.
I was going to say, I've seen the comment before of like, don't ask actors whether they'll do another one just after they finish shooting that one. Because they probably will, but at that point they don't want to because they've just gone through the whole process.
Yeah, but also, come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, they announced a load of returning cast. I'm quite interested about Felix is coming back from Casino Royale, which sounds pretty cool.
They've suddenly decided there's like a continuity, didn't they?
Inspector, yeah, they lined up all the pictures of everyone who was in the previous movie.
They're like, oh, it's all part of the same thing, retroactively.
Bond went through like a 3D IMDb page of everyone who was in the franchise. But yeah, it was just a very like. No one really looked like they wanted to be there. The director, Cary Fukunaga, like he took over quite late in the game by the sounds of it. And they also even mentioned in the press conferences that they've only just finished writing it. Because despite the fact that it was the beginning of their production, they were kind of bringing in Phoebe Waller-Bridge to do last-minute rewrites and stuff like that. So I can't imagine this is going to go well, is it?
It's always a great sign, isn't it, when they're like, oh, we're having last-minute rewrites.
On set.
Yeah. That's always a healthy production.
Also, all the radio mics were out of sync on this live stream and stuff as well.
Yeah.
It was just very crap. And they showed about 4 montages of like, she literally said like, before we interview Daniel Craig, let's remind ourselves who he is. And they did like a 2-minute like montage of all the. Bear in mind, there's only 3 of these movies.
It feels like there should be more.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
4,
it feels like there should be more than 4, though, doesn't it? At this point, considering what year was Casino Royale?
2005. Before the MCU began. And that's had 22 movies. Anyway, it didn't go entirely well. I saw a tweet. Someone said it's the Fire Festival of film announcements. And they didn't announce the title, nor did they show any kind of teaser trailer at the end either.
So, what was the point?
I don't know. But like, just compare that to like the Star Wars reveal where they did they did the trailer and then the title and the Palpatine laugh. Then Ian McDiarmid comes onto the stage, says "Roll it again." Just compare and contrast the two reveals.
It feels like they almost just didn't want to do the event.
Yeah, it feels like they don't
Like
really want to do the film.
somebody told them they had to do it.
Yeah. Oh well, Bond 25 in theatres 2020 probably, maybe, if it goes ahead. If the whole crew don't just drown themselves in before the
Just blow off work. We start off gaming news this week with a callback to a company that we reported on in December last year, Epic Games. So whilst the main thing putting their flagship title Fortnite in the news this week has been their second Avengers crossover event, that isn't what we're looking at, sadly. As much as I'd love just to spend like 10 minutes going, oh, you can get Captain America's shield as a weapon, that's cool.
It's a shame we don't get to
much...
talk exclusively about the Avengers later on.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, if you want, we can tack on talking about Fortnite Avengers content onto the film review. But no, instead for this first piece, we're going to look at two pieces of news from the last 7 days. One which is questionably good, one that is definitely bad. So starting with what you could consider good, depending on the ramifications you see for the industry. This week it was reported that Epic has said that it will stop securing exclusives if Steam rises to meet its rate of revenue share with publishers and developers. So, as we've previously reported on, the revenue share that Epic offers is 88-12, with the 88% going to the developers, which is more than Steam does.
Mm-hmm.
So, to quote Tim Sweeney, who's the CEO of Epic Games, if Steam committed to a permanent 88% revenue share for all developers and publishers without major strings attached, Epic would hastily organise a retreat from exclusives while honouring our partner commitments and consider putting our own games on Steam. Such a move would be a glorious moment in the history of PC gaming.
That's dramatic.
And would, yeah, it's quite something, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's well, me and Ollie were discussing this a bit before we sat down to record. What do you think, Nick? Do you think this is good for PC gaming? Because part of it could just be Epic Games trying to showboat. They could just be trying to get the attention off the fact that they're securing these exclusives in the first place by trying to spin it. What do you think?
I agree.
Thank you.
That's all right. No worries. I've always got a good contribution. That's obviously, yeah. It's going to be a good bit of good spin if they try and like get the gamers on board with changing how much the developers get from independent games and stuff like that. But that's probably a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
Am I correct?
If you strip it down to its basics of we think developers should get a higher share. That's good, but the way they're being like, oh, this is the only
to the shareholders and not to the people who are actually making the games.
I mean, yeah, that's another part of it, isn't it, for the bigger games?
Yeah.
But being like, oh, the only reason we're securing exclusives for our new storefront is because you're being a meanie and only giving them 80% instead of 88 seems a bit seems a bit stretched. And Ollie and I were in agreement that actually it's like, as much as obviously monopolies are bad and all that, we do just quite like using Steam as a launcher. Like, having multiple launchers on your PC is not...
No.
Like, the thing is, there are games that I would get on Origin, but I just can't be asked to power up Origin. I've even got it installed and I just don't want to go into it.
I can't be bothered to make one more click than I have to.
Like... I sent this to you the other week.
Steam's very intrusive as well. Steam just opens by default when your computer boots up.
I mean, you can switch that off, but you know,
it's the default though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's default.
You don't even have to click a button.
But like the other week, there was a deal on Origin for the new Battlefront 2, which obviously you've got good things to say about nowadays.
Yeah, I think it's
for only
£3.74.
Or like $5 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a really good price and I could get that. And I was like, I don't want to open up Origin. And I think if this doesn't...
button. God.
I have to open up another launcher, but I think a lot of people just like having it all in one place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I think this, as much as it is really good, and for some indie developers, obviously, having that kind of weight in their corner is valuable. This almost seems like it's not about the developers, it's about Epic Games.
Yeah.
So what possibly could they be trying to get good spin for? What possible bad story could have come out this week? So now we're going to talk about something else that we've covered on the podcast before. Crunch. So that is getting people to work ridiculous hours for prolonged periods of time. And this week it's been reported in game
Sounds
industry.
like my bloody week at the cinema, am I right?
Yeah, I was going to say that you're probably experiencing it this week.
I'm experiencing the crunch. All been there, lads.
But yeah, as reported, I think GameIndustry.biz, among a few others, have picked it up. A whistleblower has come forward that says when Fortnite was first released, that he was working at least 12-hour days for 7 days a week for at least 4 or 5 months.
Ooh.
And the thing is, there are some people that were on that were contractors, so therefore, if they didn't do it, they could be immediately let go.
Right.
And it was just an entire culture of just work until you drop. And part of it was in response to the fact that no one at Epic expected Fortnite to explode the way it did. Like, it just became massively popular overnight. The amount of customer service queries increased 100-fold or something. And in response, Epic did roughly double their headcount during that period. But there is a whole other issue with onboarding and training of new staff during a busy period for so many staff. It's not an immediate help as much as it probably did help long term. In the short term, it probably did make things worse.
Yeah.
And they also had management, reportedly, that did not really know how to manage a live service.
Oh, really?
And when anything broke, it had to be fixed there and then. They were not in the next patch that was coming out the next week. Fixed there and then, on top of the work that was going for the next patch.
Yeah, that's just disgusting, isn't it?
And it's just they're being very reactive. As soon as things are happening, they're like, "Oh my god, fix it," rather than maybe just disabling it, fixing it, bringing it back online with a new patch or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a whole lot of situation. Obviously, it's no excuse for overworking your employees. But, yeah.
Of course, there's the other side to that as well, which is that a lot of the developers have taken a lot of pride in the work that they've done. And even though they're not strictly being told you have to meet these deadlines, they know that what they're doing is making a big contribution and people really love it. So they're putting in the extra time willingly because they're proud of their work.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that.
I'm sure they're all perfectionists, yeah.
Yeah, and the guy that came forward did say that actually in the beginning, when Fortnite first was like, oh my god, this is taking off, it's becoming a worldwide phenomenon, they were all quite happily putting in those hours because they were like, oh my god, this is amazing. But I think it does reach the point of after hours and hours, after months of it, that it does start to become a bit difficult.
They set the bar too high at the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's almost symptomatic of anywhere that suddenly becomes successful without realising, and all of a sudden has all that focus on it. But yeah, it's the latest in a line of companies recently that have been fallen under the spotlight for this. So, as much as this one is, I don't want to say, well, arguably better than some of the other studios, because this, I guess, was in response to something they weren't prepared for, which is not good. But no one's really prepared for something going viral. Whereas, Rockstar and places like that, it's almost built in as part of the culture.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that, yeah.
Same with, that Red Dead Redemption and stuff.
Yeah.
They had to... The crunch on that was to perfect the... how the water dripped on the horse's testicles, is that right?
Yeah, and it was like the way that they swung in the wind or something like that.
Yeah.
That was taking perfectionist.
That was vital, Phil. I don't think you realise how vital that work was.
I don't want to know what you play on your PS4. You just ride the horse around. It's like, oh no, because I like the environments, and you're just like sweating. So, moving on in the news. So there's been a new Smash Brothers DLC. The first DLC character has been released, so not counting Piranha Plant, that was a pre-order character.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Joker from Persona 5 has been released.
From the what now? From where?
Persona 5.
Oh.
It's a kind of JRPG.
Oh, okay. Do you have to call him Jeremiah because of copyright?
No, luckily he gets to keep his name. So, as usual, new popular thing gets released. It's kind of a rush to the presses with the news stories. So, a lot of the ones we're covering are quite fun, quite positive, so I'm going to leave those. But let's get the awkward, annoying, dumb one out of the way first. So, as part of this DLC, alongside the character, you also got a stage, and you also got songs from the Persona series added into Smash. One of these, titled Wake Up, Get There, features an improvised spoken word section by a non-English native speaker singing in English.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, a writer at Kotaku misinterpreted some of the improvised lines as being a word that it wasn't, and ended up writing a article saying, oh, this is bad. I'm not going to repeat the word because I don't think it warrants repeating, but a lot of fans and also the developers have said that it's most likely retort it. So I don't need to say what the article was trying to say that it was.
Right, okay.
I think this is a result of rushing to get out an article in time with something popular's launch to get dem clicks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've put up a retraction now, a full retraction. And they got a statement from, I think it was Nintendo, being like, of course, that's not what it says. Imagine working in that comms team, like, that's not what it says at all.
Yeah. Can we get a statement, please? Just 4 words, just like, it doesn't say that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to give this story too much time, because some people have used it as an excuse to send abuse to the writer of the article and stuff like that, and a lot of very stupid stuff has happened as a result.
Right.
But for God's... this kind of is one of those Occam's razor things. Like, the assumption is that it's probably not that.
Yeah.
So maybe don't write an article on it.
Yeah.
And as long as they kind of... as long as the lesson is learned for the future, which probably won't be, we'll probably be reporting on misheard lyrics in about 6 months' time when we're doing these podcasts again. But for the time being, it's like, oh, for God's sake, okay, yeah. So that's the kind of annoying story that's been floating around this week.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us on to the funner stories. So the number one is as part of its 3.0 update, which the DLC was made available at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
They also brought Stage Builder back to Smash.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, I saw it.
Have you been seeing the videos?
Yes, I have.
Some of them have been so good.
So,
like,
Nintendo have been taking some of these down, though, right?
Yes.
Right, okay.
And, like, when I found, actually, the first time I went on to play online after the update, there was a brand new, like, window that popped up saying, essentially, we will take down any inappropriate content and give you a ban. And it's like, that had never come up before, obviously, when it just been Smash. So it's very clearly in response to the Stage Builder.
Many a phallus. That's all we can say.
So yeah, but there's been some quite fun videos doing the rounds. Like, one's making really interesting combos out of the portals.
Right, okay.
So, like, they've been, like, kicking somebody through a portal and then, like, dropping down, and that person's been coming out another portal and they've been hitting them again into
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And it almost like, those machines that kind of go in, like, a sequence.
Yeah.
And there's also, of course, being a steamed hams version stage, which is Mii Fighters of Skinner and Superintendent Jarvis.
Amazing.
So just go look them up. A lot of the stage builder stuff is really funny.
Yeah.
And like,
Oh, that's fun.
I think on the actual service itself, the discovery of stages, is, you have to wade through a lot of rubbish.
Yeah.
But there's enough articles and videos and stuff of good stages that you can go and download. And some of them are just funny. And finally, in my list of free Smash Brothers stories, this one is actually about Melee. So this was reported by Game Informer and some other outlets. At a recent Smash Brothers Melee tournament, after winning his way through the losers bracket to clinch victory at an event, a spectator threw a dead crab at a Smash Brothers player in something that was referred to in the Smash players community as Crabgate.
Why?
I don't actually know. It's like this person was just annoyed at this person who'd managed to win his way and clinch victory from the losers bracket. And just, it didn't hit him, but this crab just went flying past his head. And that person who threw the crab has been banned from future tournaments, and his name has been spread throughout the organisers, but none of the articles are refusing to name him, which is good. I don't think you should give positive attention to people who do this, but I just can't stop. Like, why a crab? Who has that on them at a tournament? Who's like, I've got this in my bag ready? Oh my god.
Maybe it was dinner.
Yeah, maybe he's like, it meant to be his victory dinner.
Yeah.
Bought himself crab.
Oh, I fancy a crab tonight to celebrate my win.
Saving it for a special occasion.
Like Smash Brothers tournament. But yeah, it's just...
Well, to be fair, it's quite practical because you can use that as your victory celebration dinner or as a weapon. There you go.
I mean,
Bananas.
I was going to say, arguably you could say that about most food.
Yes, that's true.
Could be your victory, or you could throw it at someone, I guess.
How would it go? Do you reckon it like spins like a batarang? I'd be interested. Was there a video of this?
You could probably find one.
Okay.
I'm guessing because all these events are like live stream nowadays.
Yeah.
So you probably could look up the video of. And apparently the guy that it almost hit got quite pissed off, picked up the crab and then threw it back. But he went on Twitter later and apologised. He was like, I'm sorry for losing my temper earlier, but somebody threw a crab at me. I think that was justified.
This sounds like it might have been like a misheard lyric or something.
So that one, like, obviously... You don't want to get hit by a crab. It's good they didn't hit him, but that story, I was just like, I got to talk about that one. Got to have some funny stories in our news, don't we?
Well, did you say that he threw the crab back? Was it like, oh, sorry, you missed. Here, have another go?
No, I think it was a very angry throw. It wasn't like, okay, mate, try again. It was like, I think probably some expletives were yelled, and he was like, ugh.
Starting a game of throw the crab.
Yeah.
What a load
I
of
think
crab.
if the guy went up to have a second go at throwing the crab, I think at that point other people I'd hope would intervene.
I like to think it just sort of slings through the air and then just like lodges into the wall at the other side.
It's going to stink up the place for weeks. So, moving on to some hardware news. So there's been a few headlines this week, so I'm just going to be going through them. The last one I might talk about a bit more.
They forgot to put the disc drive in an Xbox.
Yeah, that is one of them.
Right.
That is the new all-digital discless Xbox One S. It costs $50 less.
Hey, it's got
than
one of
the
those
disc
fancy
version.
all-digital Xbox now.
But I was going to say, because for those who don't know, Nick has recently given up a lot of his physical DVDs.
Yeah.
He's going to all digital with his viewing media.
Mm-hmm.
So I was interested to get your take on this.
Yeah, makes sense.
Would you buy a PlayStation PS5 without a disc drive.
Absolutely. And well, actually, the one thing that has always bugged me a bit about this kind of thing is that like digital downloads don't lose their value.
Yeah,
like I'm quite into buying.
my big thing as
I'm
well.
quite into buying secondhand because, I mean, obviously, like digital is the ultimate best thing for the environment. But like, if you buy secondhand, like usually it's perfectly workable. It's a lot cheaper than you'd buy for a new thing. That's when you go into CEX and you just see like Blu-rays for like £2. Whereas like if you look at a digital iTunes download or a Google Play download and it's still like £15, blows
Especially
my
some
mind.
first party video games as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope as we go a bit more digital, I hope that there are sort of better discounts and deals on stuff as they become older.
More like Steam, because at the end of the day, Steam has basically killed the physical PC gaming.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you don't buy PC game discs anymore.
No.
And they do that through having good prices and regular deals
And Humble Bundle and stuff like that as well, I suppose.
Yeah, because one of the things that's, I guess, yet to be seen is whether third parties will still be able to sell codes or whatever.
Yeah.
Because if it becomes like you can only buy stuff through the Microsoft Store, then that's not good. Like, because that means you're just going to be stuck paying those prices.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense, and especially like I only buy about 3 or 4 games per console usually, and like when you buy a physical disc as well, you put it in, and it's still, you're like, okay, this is good because I don't need to take up too much hard drive space on my PlayStation kind of thing, and then it's like installing 50,000 gigabyte file onto your PlayStation, even when you put the disc in.
Yeah, I was going to say both the PS4 and the Xbox One this generation have been put in the disc and then has to install anyway.
Yeah, exactly. We're massive down.
So-
I was so excited to play Spider-Man when I got it, and then it's just like estimated time 1 day, and it's great, thank you. Yeah, there's not.
It's
Yeah.
been even worse. It's been even worse with like the Switch, where you get like the trilogy, like the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, and only the first game is included on the cartridge, so you have to download the other 2 anyway.
Oh really?
You actually, I haven't played over the second or third one on that yet.
It was the same with Spyro on the PS4 as well. They only included the first game on the disc, and the other 2 are an extended download. So
Right.
having the physical media is pretty pointless.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I
a
was
lot
gonna
of
say, yeah.
a lot of even like Phil, a couple of years ago, you bought me Pokemon Silver, right, on my 2DS.
Yeah, and all that was a code, wasn't it?
It was just
because I got gold for myself.
It was a 3DS sized box, like game box, with nothing inside it whatsoever.
I think it was quite a good collector's item.
Oh
though,
yeah, it's nice.
'cause
It's
that's
nice.
Like,
It's nice as a gift, I guess. Yeah. Phil, I'm not trying to slag off what you got me for Christmas 2 years ago.
fine, I won't get you anything this year. Although saying that, I say it was a nice thing, like a nice collector's thing to have. I just bought it. I just bought gold digitally. I didn't bother getting the box.
Yes.
Like, how do you wrap up a digital gift anyway?
Yeah, no,
you know?
you can't. Yeah, and it's a lot more. Yeah, it is a lot more thoughtful.
Thank you. I needed that. And actually, interestingly, one of the things, just since we're talking about Microsoft, is that they've recently been reportedly saying that they'd like to they're working on a streaming service that it's explicitly described as a Netflix for games.
Mm.
And to be honest, me and you have talked about this before, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
on this podcast.
Definitely.
And if done right, that could be really good. And I think Nintendo are very slowly starting to get there with their old games. Like the Nintendo Switch Online comes with like an app that lets you access old Nintendo Entertainment System games. If that was expanded to be their entire back library,
Yeah.
then that would be like a real good one, because that's just streaming old games.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep an eye on, because if one company does it well, then it will kind of encourage the others to follow suit.
Yeah. Well,
It's about
isn't Google doing something quite similar as well?
Oh, the Stadia,
That's
isn't
it.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't got this down because it wasn't really recent news.
Yeah.
But that's meant to be all streaming, and I don't know. I'm skeptical about it,
Because
but
that's
I'm interested to see where it comes from.
because of the way that works. You don't have to actually take up your hard drive space, do you?
Yeah, but the amount of internet bandwidth I think you need for it is massive.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But like that's something that will. I know that maybe it's not quite ready right now, but that's definitely something that will. That sounds like the future to me, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's moving us further and further away from a game being a thing you own now.
Yeah.
And it's more to this live service model that games such as Fortnite, PUBG, and some other games run under. And I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm paying like a monthly subscription just to play a game, rather than just buying it.
Yeah.
Because I'm very good at putting down games for like 2 months and then picking them up
Oh,
later.
really? Okay.
Yeah. But we'll have to see how it goes. I hope it goes in a good direction, but I think all it will take is a company willing to do it in a good direction to try and positively steer all the others.
Yeah.
Because the bad ones will die out. Or at least I hope that's all happen.
And then Apple will monopolise it in 5 years' time.
Yes.
And then pretend as if they've just invented it for the first time.
Exactly.
It's a brand new thing, never seen before.
You have to get a new games console every year. The iGame 6. So moving on from Microsoft to Sony. So the PlayStation 5 has been teased. So some of the details that have come out about it is that supposedly it will have a decent launch price. Sony now have to say this apparently after the PS3. It will have PS4 backwards compatibility, which is could be big if it's true, because they've not done backwards compatibility really since. Well, they did it for did they do it for the PS3 for PS2 games?
No, because otherwise I'd be on the original Star Wars Battlefront every day of my life.
Yeah, they haven't done it since the PS2 then,
No.
for the PS1 games. No. And also, PlayStation VR will be a bigger thing for the PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
And we also know that it won't release before April 2020, so it's at least a year. And to be honest, I don't expect it will be announced until late this year at the earliest.
Right,
So.
yeah.
And finally, well, not finally, but the last of the big three, Nintendo. So they've said that there are going to be no variants of a Switch announced at E3 this year, following rumours that there'll be a Pro version, which will be bigger, and a Lite version, which will be smaller and all-in-one.
I caught that.
Without kind of detachables.
Yeah, I caught that news about the cheaper version, and that sounded quite appealing to me. Because I'm just the resident stingy bastard of the show, so that's...
Well, you're one of like the people that actually bought a 2DS, so yeah. You bought the 3DS that does not fold in half, so you're going to buy the Switch that does not come apart.
Probably. That is my kind of market, actually. That's a shame, though. I did quite like the idea of that.
Although I think it's very careful what they've said, as they've said that we're not going to announce it at E3.
Yes.
But Nintendo are well known for always playing with their own timescales and not liking to announce stuff at other people's events. So it'll be like 1 week after E3 and Nintendo will be like, well, we're going to have a Switch Direct and announce some new hardware.
To be honest, or they'll do it the week before E3. And they'll be like, we technically didn't announce it at E3. Tune in for this Nintendo Direct.
Well, the headline is very specific.
Yeah,
we're not going to announce anything at
E3. Yeah. So I think there still probably will be something, because Nintendo cannot resist releasing variants. Like the 3DS has had like 5. And at the same time, the Switch has just zoomed past another one of their old Nintendo consoles in sales. It has now outsold the Nintendo 64. So it previously soared past the GameCube and the Wii U, although granted the Wii U did not take them very long.
So it's still...
Wasn't it within like the first kind of like 4 months or so for the passing the Wii U?
Yes,
Wow.
I think it was. I think it was within a year.
Really?
It was like, it just went past Christmas and it's like, right, we've outsold the Wii U now.
So I'm guessing not the Wii, because that's probably still holds the torch, right?
Yeah, for Nintendo consoles... Oh, no. Well, if we're talking just home consoles, then yes. If you include handhelds, it's the Game Boy.
Right, okay.
But those are in like the hundreds of millions, and this is what? It's just gone past about 36 million.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's still got some ways to go,
Yeah.
but
Well, bear in
considering it's
mind,
only,
it is
3
quite a
years
high
old.
price point as well. Like if they did do like a light version, then I'm sure that probably would sell quite well.
Yeah. No, so I'm expecting it to continue going. I wouldn't be surprised if it, I don't expect it to do Wii or Game Boy numbers or even Nintendo DS numbers, but maybe Nintendo 3DS numbers, because that one was a bit lower.
Good on them.
And finally, Capcom. So Capcom, makers of Mega Man, have announced their own retro console.
Oh wow.
I'm going to send you this link actually, so you can see what it looks like, Nick.
Please do.
Over the chat, because it is quite something.
Bear with us.
You can edit this out.
No, I'll keep it in.
I was going to say you're editing this week, of course it's there.
This is what makes it real.
Just put it in the chat for you.
It's in the Skype chat.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not seeing it. Okay, maybe I will edit this out. Oh, here we go. Games industry. Goodness, that's a lot of money, isn't it? Wait, hold on.
I mean,
Is that what it looks like?
yeah.
I had the same reaction.
So this is Capcom's home arcade
74
with a controller
centimeters long.
with a controller that is just the Capcom logo with 2 joysticks on it.
I was like, okay, so where's the image of the console?
And it has 16 games on it. So bear in mind, less than say the mini NES and the mini SNES, and it's going to cost $200.
That is insanity.
It is like
$230. It's like
well, 230 euros.
it's nearly like 15 quid a game.
Yeah,
My God.
it's so, and some of them they're all 16-bit era games.
Yeah.
So if you compare that to these the mini Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
because that was also 16-bit era, which had 21 games on it, and was £80. It's just, I don't don't get it.
Jesus.
This is, although I've got some more stories, this is honorarily the weird Capcom product of the week, which it always seems to be Capcom that releases these weird products.
I scrolled straight past that image of the console, assuming it was just the Capcom logo. But it's the actual console.
And this console has not been without controversy itself. So the emulating software it uses on board is called FB Alpha, and its license, the FB Alpha license, prohibits commercial use. So that's stirred a controversy. This is being sold for $200.
They've made even more of a mistake out of this than PlayStation did.
Yeah, like the PlayStation one ended up being like how not to do it, and Capcom were like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
So this controversy is quite interesting because given how anti-emulators video game companies are meant to be, the fact that they've taken one to put in their device is actually quite ironic.
I can't believe it's nearly a metre long. What do you even do with that? That won't fit in a drawer. That won't fit in your TV's drawer.
It's going to be one of the murder weapons in the gaming version of Cluedo.
It might be more functional that way.
I'm genuinely looking at my TV cabinet, and like it wouldn't even fit in one of the sections.
That's because it's so important. It needs to be like a prime thing that you display on your table.
It's like on top of all your coffee table books. It's just this massive Capcom logo.
This is my Capcom.
But I actually saw a tweet which was like theorising about it, and I think they had it pretty bang on, that what this was designed to be was something that YouTubers bought, did an unboxing video of, then never played, had on the shelves in the background of their streams.
Would be a good draft excluder. You could put that under a door.
I've been looking for one of those.
But basically, it's designed to be on camera but not used as a advert for Capcom.
Right. Okay.
Like, because imagine if, like, you know, these streamers have these background designs.
Yeah.
That on its side, if it doesn't just fall over, would just all it is in the end is a Capcom logo.
Yeah.
Which I think was what they were trying to do with it, but it's just so ugly. It's just so bad.
Or is it genius?
And people are like, oh yeah, like the Wii controllers had like slightly pointy edges, and it's like, well, this is just a giant logo.
Maybe they want you to like build it into an arcade cabinet or something. That would then kind of make sense.
Yeah, but that's even more expensive.
That comes in the extra £900 expansion pack.
Yeah, that's the collector's edition.
Jesus.
Which has Capcom on it all over.
So yeah, that's going to be a day one purchase for all three of us, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
For the draft exclude function, right?
Yeah, no, I have an issue that because of the way my windows are, like when wind comes down my road, it just slams my window shut, so that should solve that nicely.
Just prop it in.
The only problem is the console may end up falling out the window, but it's a risk you take.
Could use it as a chopping board?
No, because of the joysticks. Anyway, moving on to just the other headlines from this week. Reggie Fils-Aimé, president of Nintendo of America, has retired this week. He announced back in February that he was going to retire. He's in his late 50s, although he really does not look it. And he has been with Nintendo since 2004. And if you don't recognise the name, you've probably seen a Reggie meme. Like, he's one of the most memed video game executives. If you've ever heard the phrase, "My body is ready," that was him. Or, "I feel like a purple Pikmin," that was him. "I'm here to kick ass and make games," that was him.
Amazing.
And he's just made himself a Twitter, which is just @Reggie. And he's been, like, tweeting as he cleared out his office of all, like, the mementos he's found over the years.
Aww.
And actually that was quite nice, because the thing is, he was genuinely a voice for good in the industry, and he was the first like proper gaming executive to become a personality.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them are trying to copy what he's done now.
Yeah.
But like, he used to get super involved in like their in their Nintendo Directs and their videos, and do all sorts of weird skits and stuff. So I think, yeah, it's a great shame that he's retiring, but he's worked really hard and he's done some great work. So, and do you know the name of his replacement?
Go on.
As president of Nintendo?
Go on.
I need to remember his first name. I think it's Dan, but it's Dan Bowser.
No, it isn't.
It
That's
is.
amazing.
The president of Nintendo of America is now got Mr. Bowser. And that's already got him off to a good start, because people are like, oh no, Nintendo's being run by Bowser.
He won.
So also in the news this week is that there's a new DLC for Hat in Time coming. They did a live stream on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a new city based around like cats. So there's like cat buses and stuff like that, and it's very very nyan.
All right.
But the interesting bit of it is that it's going to have up to 50 players together playing online. So that's going to be, because there's been a recent rise of that in like the modding community for old collectathons like Mario 64. So I think that's going to be quite an interesting one. I think it's mostly for like the YouTuber Twitch crowd.
Right.
But yeah, it looks pretty good. It's out next month. There is a spiritual successor to Zoo Tycoon coming from the creators of Planet Coaster.
Mm.
So that's called Planet Zoo,
Right. Makes sense.
and that's coming in autumn. And to be honest, I'm up for it.
Yeah.
I enjoy those kinds of games. I've got Planet Coaster on my wish list for Steam, but with those sorts of games, I always have grand ideas of the type of stuff I'll design, but I've got no skills, so they end up just being like pretty standard coasters. But a zoo, you know, as long as you can do that thing where you release all the animals, then I'm sold.
Can you do dinosaurs?
I don't think so,
Oh.
but I wouldn't be surprised if that was like a expansion down the line.
Or how long until you get the dinosaur mod?
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's got a modding community, then that'll be like day 2.
Yeah.
I mean, Planet Coaster's got like some ridiculous mods, so it makes sense.
Yeah, no, Planet Coaster's got quite a good modding community, hasn't it? So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you get like unicorns, like
I like that was the first thing that you thought of.
Pegasi,
Pegasus.
dinosaurs. Well, multiple Pegasus, I assume that's correct.
Pegasus.
And finally, and another quite good story is, obviously it was awful news a few weeks ago, the fire at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, for Assassin's Creed Unity, which takes place in Paris, they had modelled the entire thing.
Yeah.
So Ubisoft actually donated €500,000 for the restoration, and they've said if you want to use the model, you can use it.
Yeah, that's also because they took like one of the most like hyper accurate scans of that building like that's ever been done for that game, didn't they?
Yeah. So and for a short time they were giving away Ubisoft Assassin's Creed Unity for free.
Yeah.
That's now over. And actually the result of all this is the first ever instance of a game being what's being referred to as reverse review bombed.
Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, so obviously review bombing is when you spam, like, controversy means that a game gets spammed with negative reviews, and Steam actually has a policy now about removing these. So the question is now, does Steam have to remove a positive review bomb? Or is that fine? Is only because I'd say just let them stand, because I think it's for a pretty good reason.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone
but I think didn't like that game initially as well, did they?
No, that was the first Assassin's Creed game I think that showed that they shouldn't do one a year, because wasn't that the one where the faces disappeared and it's just the eyeballs and the mouth?
I think they had 2 that year. I think they had Rogue and that.
Yeah, so Rogue was on the PS3 and Xbox 360,
Yeah.
and Unity was meant to be on the next gen consoles, and they just stretched themselves too thin.
Yeah.
And like I think one of my friends did get that game pretty close to release, and then a few patches had already come out. But even so, when you walk past crowds of people were just disappearing and reappearing. Like, it was so glitchy.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame.
I mean, apparently the patches have got it working pretty well now, and obviously. But to be honest, if it's able to help with this whole situation with Notre Dame, then I guess it was all worth it, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, I've snapped Ollie out of existence so we can do the next section of the show. Because we're going to be talking... Go on.
Yeah, he's not seen Avengers Endgame.
Yes, so we don't want to spoil it for him. And I'm not, as you were saying, I'm not sure there's a lot we can really do in the non-spoiler section of this review, to be honest. We'll give it a go.
Yeah. So... Avengers Endgame was released in April 2019. It is a 3-hour-long film. It stars Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Paul Rudd. No, you're right, I can't do it. It is a culmination of, 22 movies or whatever it was you were saying earlier.
11 years, 22 movies.
Like, just go see it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really anything like...
I'd say go see it if you've seen 11 years, 22 movies. This is not like a film you can just go and casually watch.
No,
I would say.
It's a payoff for sticking through for the Dark World.
Yeah, I think no matter what, I think the more you've seen of the MCU, the better payoff you get. And yeah, even if your favourite film is one of like the, let's say, weaker ones, even though they're all kind of strong to average, even if your favourite one is probably one of the weaker or the regarded weaker ones, then I feel like you're going to get a really good payoff in this film for absolutely sticking with it the whole way through.
I think every film gets at least a nod.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are going to leave us now, you can either use the time codes to just skip to the end, or if you can't be asked, we'll see you next week. We'll be discussing something else.
Someone else.
Yeah.
But spoilers.
Anyway.
Spoilers for Endgame. What did you think?
Do you want to kick? I really liked it. I thought it's almost a one in a million film, isn't it? Because to set it up in this way across all these years, following such a almost structured, strict plan.
Yeah, that's what exactly it is. I don't think there'll ever be another like film event. I'd be very impressed if there's ever another film event that's that meticulously planned, because this felt like the finale to a TV show.
Well, the thing is, it was like 22 movies or something. That's basically a TV season.
Yeah. A long TV season.
Yeah.
My initial thought coming out of this film was it's a combination of the Doctor Who episode Journey's End crossed with Back to the Future crossed with Return of the King.
Yes. And even though it's 3 hours long, I did not find myself looking at my watch.
I had to go back and watch it a second time, so I've watched it twice now. Because initially, I was thinking about reviewing this on the podcast. I was watching it like, is it fair to like praise a film that is like a lot of fan service to this extent? And then I watched it again and I said, yes, absolutely, it's fair to praise this.
Well, the thing is, above all else, it is just a great film.
Yeah, and it deserves it. It deserves the amount of payoffs that it gives you.
And the amount that they managed to keep hidden as well. Obviously, a lot of their comms push for the film was don't spoil the end game. And my God, I'm glad.
Yeah, I didn't know anything.
Even the trailers don't give anything away.
No, even the merchandise doesn't give anything away, because we're in spoilers now, aren't we? Yeah. So they marketed, they sold the figures of Thor in the quantum suit, looking like how he did in Infinity War. And then so that when you get the actual reveal of present day Thor in this movie, it's a really good note that it hits.
Yeah, and for the most part, I did end up seeing it just before release in like one of their promotional pictures. But the Hulk banner, was for the most part kept secret.
It's sort of based on Professor Hulk, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much. I think I had seen a couple of those posters with him, but like the Thor thing took me out of surprise. I didn't expect a lot of those returning characters. We get to see the Ancient One again, which was awesome. And I got a real need to like sort of keep these things to myself. Even now that we're recording it in the spoiler section of the show, I'm like, what if someone in the next flat can hear me? Like, I really want everyone to just experience like everything for themselves.
Yeah, that's in the gap between sections. I said to Ollie, close all the doors between us, because he's just in the next room in the bedroom, but I think he's got his headphones on playing Switch. Okay. So I think we're good.
Yeah. But yeah, we see the Ancient One return for a really, really awesome cameo, as well as like Korg and Meek.
I'd say since we are doing spoilers, we might as well just run through the film from the beginning.
Oh, crikey, it's a long one.
I mean, not like scene by scene, but... So I think, the film kind of picks up immediately where Infinity War leaves off. what I kind of guessed would be the case, but I'm glad of anyway, is that they didn't waste much time with Tony stuck in space.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
Like-
thing. From the trailers, like, because I only saw the first trailer, I think. Maybe I caught a glimpse of the second one on Instagram or something. But, like, from the marketing and stuff, I assumed it would just be, like, an hour or two of sort of the mopiness and, like, Tony in space and Thor, like, regretting his actions and everyone looking around sad for ages. And then it's, like, the final battle kind of thing.
Yeah, no, Tony would get back to Earth
Yeah.
at the end of Act 2.
Whereas we go sharpeningly quick to 5 years later, like relatively soon in the film.
Yeah, no, like, the first 20 minutes is Tony comes back to Earth, like, has a bit of a freak out, obviously, because it's very traumatic what's happened.
And he's low on, like, food and oxygen.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And, like, obviously Captain Marvel comes into the picture. They're all like, okay, we've managed to track down Thanos.
Yeah.
Let's just go get him.
Yeah.
They go. They find out that he's destroyed the stones, and then they just kill him.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh shit.
They just lop his big old head straight off, don't they?
And that was actually quite a powerful moment.
Yeah.
Because you don't think of these heroes doing that, and obviously that gets to fall quite a bit throughout the film.
Yeah.
And then, then the 5 comes up, and it lingers
Yeah.
for just 5. And I was thinking, what is it going to be, like, months?
Yeah. No.
And it's like years. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah. And the beauty about this film as well is that it doesn't undermine any of its decisions. So, like, those 5 years still happen. And
Yeah, it gives me a very big question, which maybe we can get into in a bit, but does this mean that half the MCU is 5 years younger than the other half now?
So the question that really got me with that was Spider-Man. Because
because obviously
Peter Parker is technically 5 years younger than his classmates, unless MJ and Ned and Flash were all snapped up as well.
Yeah, it's going to mean that like half your class are 5 years older.
Yeah, because the Far From Home trailer does suggest that
they're all the same age and things are just
they're all the
continuing.
same. Yeah, so either we have to assume that the main characters were all snapped with Peter, or I don't know. There might be some kind of explanation for it.
Yeah. So that was one of the questions I had after watching the film.
Yeah. Someone posed. I went to the pub last night. One of the other managers. I'm leaving drinks at work, and someone, one of my friends, turned around and asked a question. Does Steve Rogers snog his granddaughter? Or
Yes, I think so.
does he actually?
Wait, so I don't.
I don't think-
It depends how this time travel thing works, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't change the present.
Because the last scene is kind of confusing in that sense.
Yeah.
Because what they're implying the whole way through is that each time they've gone back, they've been creating these like parallel universes that won't affect their present.
Yeah.
A little bit like how Dragon Ball Z does it in a way. I'm guessing they've created 3 parallel universes from the 3 points they've travelled to. But obviously, for the end, for Cap's kind of happy ending, obviously I think it was thematically appropriate, but it does raise the issue of like, does this mean he's simultaneous? Like, this is a universe that maybe he travelled to from a different universe to their past and just been hiding. I mean, I'm quite happy to accept it because it gives him his happy ending.
Oh yeah. It was,
But in the context of your question, yes, he probably was making out with his own granddaughter.
Was Sharon Carter? Yeah, she was Peggy's granddaughter, or was she Peggy's niece? I can't really remember. But
It was a blood relative. Let's
yeah.
like at that point we're kind of just splitting hairs.
But yeah, Cap's ending was pretty beautiful.
Yeah, because I was kind of expecting him to die,
Yeah.
and one of my friends was as well. I was talking to him beforehand, and to be honest, I think I prefer the ending they gave him. Like, obviously, there's a very like intense bit during the final action.
Yeah.
where his shield just gets destroyed.
Yeah.
By Thanos, and he's just kind of there with like the piece of his shield, like just a broken shield, and it's kind of like, oh, is this gonna be it?
Yeah.
Destroyed shield kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, but it wasn't, thankfully.
I really like, because he's the soldier who's finally he's done the biggest fight of them all, and I think that's a very appropriate time to wrap it up. So I got to talk about Cap versus Thanos' army, and then the portals open.
It is a great shot.
Yeah.
Of just the silhouette of Cap.
Yeah.
And the entire army.
Yeah, very reminiscent.
And he was willing to stand there and
very reminiscent of the Luke Skywalker Last Jedi scene. Like, just awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely. But then it's such a cinema and such fan service, but I was literally just like beaming ear to ear as all those portals opened up.
Every hair on my body was just
it's
like standing on end at that bit, because the goosebumps. And
that's the thing, you hear Sam over the radio.
On your left. Nice callback.
Yeah. And then it was just a kind of, oh, I know them.
Yeah.
Oh, they're here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Because it does seem like everyone was there.
Yeah. And then I loved Wong's comment when Doctor Strange says, "Is that everyone?" And he's like, "What, you want more?" And then Ant-Man, like Giant Man, bursts out with Hulk, and absolutely, yeah, it is a lot of just like fan service, and it's it might be a bit over the top for like your sort of casual cinema goer, but like, yeah, I've never like beamed as much as at a cinema moment than that.
It's all very earned, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they've spent so many years patiently building.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is our big blowout.
Yeah. And when he shouts, "Avengers, assemble!" like, oh.
Yeah. No, my friend next to me muttered under her breath, "Assemble."
Yeah.
Before.
Oh, I loved it. And the other moment that had me beaming ear to ear was also in that same battle sequence, where Cap lifts Mjolnir.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and he gets the ability to like summon it.
Yeah. And he's fighting how Cap would, but with Mjolnir. He's using the lightning to just like strike Thanos and stuff as well.
Yeah, and he's using it like a sword and shield.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. And when he goes to take the axe and Thor's like, "No, you have the little one."
Yeah. I liked, even though I really liked Thor's look from the previous couple of movies, I thought when you see him with like the braids in his beard and like looking chunky with like Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, I thought that was a pretty cool look, actually.
Yeah, it actually worked, surprisingly.
Yeah, considering he was just fucking the dude from The Big Lebowski the whole way through up until that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am going to miss that Infinity War look, though. I'm going to call the Infinity War look Thor. And he's no longer Thor, unfortunately, but
he's fought.
Yeah. But I
kind of like how they've left it with him as well. Him just going off with the Guardians.
Yeah, that's going to be a fucking cracking movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
What else could we talk about? Is this going to be a Spider-Verse situation where we just list cool moments?
Maybe.
Okay, so
I mean, I think that's just what spoiler reviews are, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm going to attempt to be critical. I don't think it's a perfect movie.
Oh, I don't. I think there's some bits which is just convenient.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely more fan service than an actual straightforward story, because you look at Infinity War and that's kind of Thanos' story from like what he's doing, his motivations, and like ultimately the payoff kind of thing, whereas this is a bit more, even though you get some like amazing payoff moments, it's kind of it's overwhelmingly like fan servicey the whole way through, so it's not as much.
Like everything is pretty convenient.
Yeah,
like after mildly suggesting it to Tony Stark, the concept of time travel.
Yeah,
he cracks it in about 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean,
He's like, oh, okay, I've done it now.
well, in the movie, it's about 2 minutes.
Yeah. And also the fact that they had to wear all these suits to travel through time, but then Thanos' ship just comes through.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
But yeah, you kind of have to gloss over a lot of the stuff in this film, because obviously I had a problem with some of, maybe some of the logic when you're trying to sort of tie it together, like the time travel elements and stuff. It's quite hard to get your head around, and you kind of question like, wait, does that make sense? And as I said earlier, like, is it possible to criticise a film which is this enjoyable?
Yeah, that's the thing. It was a pat on, they were just patting themselves on the back for 3 hours.
I think going into this film, you definitely have to be. Don't go in thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to analyse this film, and from like a cinematography point of view, I'm going to analyse it from this point of view. Just go in and just relax and have a laugh and enjoy it.
Don't get me wrong. There's some well done bits.
Oh yeah, considering the scale of it, actually a lot of the characters do have some really strong moments. Like you see every character by that final battle, you kind of see what they're fighting for.
Yeah,
especially like Tony, which was a really well done arc, I thought.
Yeah, I like when they first show obviously his house and obviously his future, and introduce obviously his daughter.
Yeah,
I just immediately thought to myself, oh no. Because there's one or two things that are going to happen. Either he's going to die, or they're going to have to rewrite time, and it's going to write her out of existence.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to have to make that sacrifice.
But no, I thought it was a very fitting end to Tony's journey, especially the bit that really got me was proof that Tony Stark had a heart bit right at the end.
Yeah,
that first Iron Man film, just I can't believe I watched that when I was 11 years ago. I watched that when I was 11 or 12.
Yeah,
like,
and like the callback obviously to his original film, and also just a good line for him to snap his fingers on.
Oh yeah, I am Iron Man. Yeah, amazing. That's the thing. I think you definitely have to go into this film thinking it's a finale, and you can't just watch it with limited knowledge kind of thing. You have to have watched the series to get the finale kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a season finale.
Yeah, which I guess doesn't make it a perfect film, because I don't know. It's
the question of can a film be considered good if you couldn't consider it good in isolation?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And actually,
and that's why that's also a big reason as to why Spider-Verse won in our awards ceremony as opposed to Infinity War.
Infinity War, yeah. And actually, I picked up Spider-Verse on Blu-ray on Monday because that's when it was released in the UK.
Yeah.
Rewatched that and I was still like, oh, this is still so good.
Yeah.
But the thing is, even though they're both superhero films, I wouldn't want to compare it to this.
No.
Because Spider-Verse is just a solid standalone superhero film.
Yeah.
Whereas this is exceptional, but it's built on so much.
Yeah.
Like, it shows, like, the payoff, really.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fantastic. They absolutely stuck the landing, didn't they?
Yeah, and because they didn't spoil stuff in the opening, in the trailer, sorry, like, you just didn't know what was going to happen.
No,
like,
not at all.
With all of them going to their different times, I thought it was good team ups.
Yeah. I mean, you could see what was going to happen with the Hawkeye and Black Widow story.
It's done very well.
It was, yeah.
It's very... Yeah, because I couldn't tell which one of them it was going to be until it happened.
Yeah. I think the second time I watched it, it hit me a little bit harder, because the first time you're watching it knowing that it's in the past, and, like, again, I still wasn't completely sure on the rules of time travel and stuff, and I was like, this is a survivable death. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
I think that's interesting that the Soul Stone one apparently isn't.
Yeah.
Because I thought they did a very clever job at writing around that with Gamora.
Yes.
And I think that's leading into a very interesting Guardians 3.
Yeah. Well, because Gamora doesn't really know Quill that well, and she goes missing at the end of the film, disappears and does her own thing.
She doesn't know any of them.
No.
Um,
But yes, it leaves everything in a very interesting place, and I'm excited to see if anything happens next.
the big question now is when Marvel try to do the next big story,
Yeah.
will anyone turn out for it?
Yes.
Like, will they be able to replicate this again?
Do you think the Russos should step down?
Oh, it's a difficult one because it's not as though the Russos were doing the Avengers films from the start.
No. But they've
The
done.
Russos did what? The Winter Soldier.
They've definitely done the best
Civil
bits
War.
of. They've done the best bits of Captain America, I'd say.
Yeah. I think if they wanted to, this would be a perfect time.
Yeah, it'd be a very difficult
Say-
second album, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they said they've done what they've done what they wanted to do. It'd be a good time to step down.
Yeah.
Did you notice that one of the Russo brothers cameoed?
Yes, as the first explicitly gay Marvel character, MCU character, which I thought was very fun.
And also, I like the fact that the Russos have almost snuck the entire cast of Community into the MCU.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so in The Winter Soldier, it was Abed from Community.
Right.
In Civil War, it was the Dean, who played the Dean of the campus.
Right. Donald Glover in
Actually-
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Donald Glover, although obviously they didn't direct that, that's another cast member. And actually, the Arrested Development stair car was in the airport for the airport scene in Civil War.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Ken Jeong was in this film.
Yeah, Ken Jeong was in this film as a security guard, and Yvette Nicole Brown was in it as the security lady that suspects Tony
really?
Stark
Okay.
and Captain America.
Yeah.
So the only ones left is Alison Brie, who is currently the lead on the women's wrestling show on Netflix.
Oh,
I keep
Glow.
forgetting- Glow. She's the lead on that at the moment.
All right.
And then the two leads of Community, who are also quite busy at the moment.
Yeah.
So unless they wanted just to finish that off, then I think they
What, you
did a
think that's
pretty good
why they'd
job.
hang around?
Yeah, just to sneak the last three into a film.
But
Yeah.
pretty good. Very good. But it
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like 3 hours.
No, it's
Bit of a breeze, isn't it?
yeah, and it's like you say, it's a lot of fan service, but
I'd say it's actually
cares?
it's lighter in tone than Infinity War as well, which I was quite surprised about.
yeah. Although I found, maybe because of the 3-hour movie, the quips are further spaced out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but like I feel like just like how fun it is, because when they go back in time in like that time heist, they don't play it out for tension necessarily. They play it out for like when you see that shot, the spinning shot of the Avengers from the first Avengers movie.
Yeah,
They're obviously they're using the nostalgia to like really give you that sort of raw emotion, and equally when they use it for character development as well. So Tony gets a bit of a send off with his father. Thor gets more of a send off with his mother, and of course Captain America gets his payoff as well. It felt like a very nice love letter to all the original Avengers and some of the new ones as well. But obviously the new ones have still got lots to do.
Yeah, they've just got to.
Lots of contracts still left.
They've just got to see if they can bring the films together without the main two unifying forces in the narrative.
What, Cap and Iron Man?
Yeah, the two leaders. Because there's no one quite like them.
No.
But we'll see.
What do you think of Captain Marvel in this movie?
See, I still haven't seen Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay, so you're probably a bit confused as to... I mean, you get the gist.
Yeah, no, I get that she's kind of like their version of Superman.
Hmm.
But she just kind of shows up, in the beginning, and then obviously she's trying to cover the entire universe, so she's not in most of the movie.
Do you think they were being
and
very
then just
careful?
kind of shows up and destroys the ship at the end? It's like, okay.
Do you think they were being very careful with how they use her, and writing her out for certain moments?
I mean, maybe that was to help with
a lot of people were saying like, oh, she's just going to turn up and defeat Thanos easily, isn't she? But that's not what happens in the movie.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that actually when she did go hand to hand, she didn't just easily dominate him. They're actually pretty even.
Something I liked a lot about this movie was Thanos seems younger.
Yes.
Because in Infinity War, and even at the beginning of Endgame, where he's quite sad about how he treated Nebula, because he's just like he's actually quite wise in those two movies. Whereas this version, with all the armour on and everything, he is just like mad.
Yeah.
Especially that bit in the final battle where he's like, okay, you were right. I shouldn't kill half the universe. I should
just kill them all.
Kill them all, and everyone would be grateful. He's just batshit crazy by this point. And I loved seeing that because he's going ham. Because and like in Infinity War, like a big part of his character is that he wasn't doing it personally. Whereas this,
I think as well,
you could sense how personal he was about it.
Probably seeing his own future didn't help.
No, yeah, of course, yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's good to see him go full villain. Full crazy villain.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it sets up for quite a nice third act battle.
Yeah. And when you see Thanos and his army turn to dust, it's very, very satisfying.
Yes.
They've done a bloody good job.
Is it worth even doing number scores, or...?
It's a tough one, because as I said, like, what do we give this as a movie?
As just a movie by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck it. It's a 90-degree thumbs up.
So is that 10 out of 10? I don't understand you.
That's right, yeah. I think
I'm going to say 9.5.
Okay.
Because I'm a real stickler.
Yeah. I mean, like, as I liked your wording on the Spider-Verse review, in that, like, I guess a movie or an art form should just be the perfect expression of itself.
Yeah.
And it pretty much was.
Yeah. Like, I've got enough places where I was like, where I'd say 9.5 because they could have been just a little bit. Like,
yeah.
Although it's probably
it's not flawless,
the only attempt at doing itself it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're going to have another shot.
No. And, yeah, it gives you exactly what it's presenting itself as. Which works spectacularly. So, that's it for the... that's our last of the Infinity storyline in the MCU.
Yeah. Have to see what happens next.
Yeah.
So, I think that's going to do it for our show this week. Usually we'd do like another little segment here, but we've been talking for quite a long time. The news was quite long because it's the first show back, and obviously we're talking about one of the biggest film events of the year. So we're going to just call it a day, and we're going to start doing our little wrap-up now. So, plugs. I've actually got stuff to plug for a change. So, in the time since the last episode in December, I've been actually quite busy. So I did a 10-episode podcast with my sister Vicky over on a Bridge Big Knickers called Big Nostalgia. We talked about 10 Nintendo 64 games that we played as kids, how they were developed, and kind of their quirks, and whether we think they've aged well now. So you go check that out. There is the current gaming Let's Play series going up on the Haddoink channel on Fridays is also with Vicky. We're playing through a Hat and Times co-op mode, and that's a very fun series I'd recommend. Once that's done, it'll be back to me and Nick, probably playing Lego Harry Potter. And for April Fool's this year, we worked on and released a ukulele parody video, which part 1 is now available on YouTube. So go check those out. You can follow me personally at Hadowink on Twitter. Follow the Synopt Podcast at Synopt Podcast. Nick, do you want to do your stuff now?
I'm at Mick Nortimer on Twitter. Write in some suggestions if you've got anything, ideas or whatnot for what we can do. Me and Phil have been talking about potentially doing a Star Wars themed written series at some point in the future, because the nature of my job means we actually get very limited time to do these podcasts, because I work all weekend, and obviously it goes out on a Monday when the big films come out, and then we end up with very little turnover time. So I'd quite like to get into some more scripted stuff, and we've got a couple of ideas floating around. But yeah, let us know if you've got any suggestions for anything we can do. Always happy to hear.
So, next week, the topic we actually don't know. We may be talking about Star Wars Episode 9, we may be doing something else. Then we will have an episode this season on Star Wars. We're back for another 7 episodes now.
Mm-hmm.
So, following the podcast on Twitter is always the best way to know what's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, and I'm going to take another look at what other services we can get on, just to make it so you can listen as conveniently as possible. But until next week, I have been Phil.
And I've been Nick.
And thank you very much for joining us for this episode of the podcast. Bye.
Bye.